Yo, Myles.
Do not now. Let me put my pants on. Dude, I said just give me a second. Okay. Right, what's going on?
I don't know. I feel as though there is something you wanted to address before we get the show started, man. I feel like there's something you need to get off your chest.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'd like to make a public statement. Despite the joke I've just made, I am not a liar about anything. I know on Wednesday I made a joke in the chat when they were talking about this new announcement of 20 PSVR2 games, and I joked in the chat where there's no tone of voice, so it was a mistake, and I said something along the lines of, yeah, and all 20 are just PSVR1 remasters. And Wes was like, did you hear this? Myles just said they're all PSVR1 remasters. To which I then went, no, I was just kidding. And there was such a delay that you guys had a massive conversation. Yeah. Just going, yeah, no, Myles is for real. Myles is for real. Yeah, and now I'm Myles, too wise liar.
Myles, yep, two wise and a lie. That's what we call you.
I just want to say I'm sorry. And I hope that by the end of today, I will rebuild my trust with everyone. So I can start lying again. Let's start the show, Bryan.
Oh my God, it's going to be such a long show. Let's start the show. This is PSVR Gamescast Live. We film live every single Monday, Wednesday, and thank God it's Friday right here on PSVR without Parole. Don't forget, guys, if you're only interested in one topic, this show goes on way too long for you to watch it live. You can always come back later after Sci-Fi Game Cat Henry, amazing friend and loved one. He shall be missed the day that we miss him, but that day is not today. He puts all the timestamps into the show after it's all over. And of course, if you don't like looking at my pretty face in Myles's even prettier face, then you can go over to any podcast service of your choice and listen to the MP3 format uploaded by our good friend and lover, whose nipples are really hard right now, apparently, according to the chat. They can cut glass. Jamie Meow. My name is Bryan Paul from the channel right here. Myles Dyer over there on the other side of the pond. From Myles Dyer Official over on Instagram. Make sure you follow him because because everybody's ego is contingent on having more followers.
Agreed.
How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a whirlwind of a week with news. Not just PlayStation VR news, but PlayStation news generally. There's just been so much going on. The Silent Hill stuff, obviously, we spoke about before. There's all that bubbling around. But yeah, the investor call on Wednesday, 20 upcoming games, and now there's a state of play. It's all so exciting. And I'm very looking forward today because we're going to be talking about, what we know, what we suspect, and then what we dream. Like, those are the three tiers. And I'm just really looking forward to this conversation.
This is what happens when I say, Myles, can you put together a show real fast? Because I'm busy making a thumbnail and getting the show all set up. And so he takes the traditional run of show and goes, we're starting with what we know. Then we're going to what we love. And then we're finishing off with our dreams. And I was like, God damn, there's a lot of heart in this episode. I can't wait. I'm excited. But let's kick it off with a couple of the tips from the chat, starting with Darth Vader, the Game Cat. $10 tip says, let's get this party started next Thursday. Here we come. God, the next 6 days are going to feel so long, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, what day's today? Can I just go back to bed till tomorrow? We also got Jamie out with a $2 tip that says, can cut glass. And as you all know, he's talking about his nipples because he's so excited. I don't know how appropriate that is, but... let's roll with it. It's Friday. It's casual Friday over here on Without Parole. Every day is sort of casual Friday. We don't take shit too seriously. Right? Right. Okay. Myles, how many likes do we want on this video?
So the target last week was 110 likes, and we hit 124 by the end of the show. So today's target is 120, and I know what you're thinking. Why 120 if we did 124? It's because last week's show went on for, 4.5 hours?
This long. It was this long.
This long. Should have been this long. Yeah. So you had a bit more runway, This time, within the hour, we're going to try and keep it tight for the hour. Let's see if we can hit 120 likes. So, if you joined us, and even if you don't want to chat, just hit the like button. It really helps us out with the algorithm. And if you see anyone else join, just let them know. Just say, hey, give it a like.
Yeah.
Give it a like.
Hell.
It's free. Love is free, man.
That's true. It's very true. Man, we're going to be talking about a whole lot of stuff today. We're going to be talking about a big Zenith update that's coming to Zenith, or apparently more information about the update that's eventually coming to Zenith, I guess we should say, because, man, they've been talking a lot about this update for a while now. We're going to be talking about that state of play that Myles mentioned. We're going to be talking about the 20-plus major PlayStation VR2 launch games that Jim Ryan alluded to during the investor call. But first, Myles, we spent most of our day today playing Alvo, which is not a statement that I thought really I'd be making anytime soon. Why did we play so much Alvo today, bud?
Didn't they pay us?
Yeah, no, they paid us a lot of money to play Alvo.
Because I've not seen any of it yet.
They paid us this much. We asked for this much.
Oh, I'm lying again. I just can't help myself. Yeah,
they didn't pay us, man. Like, I know, like the reviews on Alvo were mixed. I liked it out of the gate, and I think the game has gotten better and better and better over time. Except today was kind of the big update that we've been waiting for, because that finally brought us the not only the zombie mode, which Quest users had had for a week or two, but also a brand new map, the Resort, which was really fun to explore, I thought. But
really cool.
Let's start with zombies, though, man. What did you think of the zombie mode? We played this for a while.
So funnily enough, so a bit of context. I first jumped into Alvo when I came to do a guest slot on Gamescast Live, because you messaged me in the day and you said, have you played it? I was like, nope, but I'm going to buy it now. And I bought it, started playing it, and I was like, why did I not get this sooner? I had a real blast. It was when the factory level had just come out. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. And then when it came around the time where they started teasing this zombie mode, that was when I started going on to other games, and I was like, I really want to play zombie mode. This is like a co-op zombie mode in the Alvo, like with the Alvo mechanics in VR. It's going to be great. So, should we talk a bit first about how the zombie mode works before sort of giving our feedback on it? So it's round based. And so you spawn on either the monastery map, or you can do it in the town. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there are just rounds, and some of the rounds you have to hold a point for a certain amount of time to take it before your timer runs out, and so you're defending against waves of zombies, or you just have to survive waves of zombies. And at first they're just these ones that run at you that look like people on a late night in a local town of mine. Really weird. I found them really funny the way they run at you. And then you also have dogs. Then you start having other variations. You have these big brutes. You have ones that explode, and then ones that throw projectiles. But you get cash for every enemy you kill, and at the end of every round you can then spend it in the store for like armor, health, self-revive, grenades. But then also around the map there are these little modules on the wall that you can click to buy new weapons, which you can then upgrade. And it just goes round and round. That is the zombie mode. What were your thoughts of it, Bryan?
Well, we jumped in, right? It was the two of us. It was Cerebral Frost, Dan, and Pacer, and no, that's 4. Okay, we
4.
Jumped in with 4. But I believe you can have 5.
Yeah,
right. Because Alvo is all about teams of 5, so like team deathmatch 5, like whatever.
Yeah.
So it's everything 5. I'm assuming this is 5 as well. We just happened to jump in with 4. We were actually going to have Reggie from Strange Games join us and be our 5th, but the update for this is like 5+ gig, and so we just jumped into a game while we were waiting for him, and then like we just kind of like our paths didn't meet up. Sorry, Reg. And so. And yeah, I'll say right off the bat, man, that this is the Batman. This is something that I wanted for a while, because as much fun as I had with Alvo, even at launch, the kind of just, okay, we're going to play a round and kill a bunch of people, and then play another round and kill a bunch of people, and whether it be free for all or the capture the flag mode, not the capture the flag, you know what I mean? It's the search and seek and destroy. or team deathmatch, whatever it was, it always felt a little on the shallow side. And so I kind of liked this idea of getting into the game with a common purpose. We all work together. We're all working toward a common goal. And the common goal is stay alive as long as possible. You know, and it just feels like a meteor experience to me. Something that we're all progressing together. We're all going through this together. We're all working together. And it just felt like for me, a better reason to jump in and play. And so I'm really happy that it exists, and I enjoyed our time with it. But I do think that I think, as you said while we were playing, and I was definitely thinking the same thing. This is a great first stop for Alvo's zombie mode. This is a great. I would almost call it like even like zombies beta, right? It's like make sure everything's up and running, make sure everything works, and then we have a lot of requests from Arden Pole to add to this game.
I have to say that the mechanics in it were a lot more well thought out than I was expecting. I thought it was going to be an incredibly shallow zombie game, but sometimes the shallow just wave zombie shooters really fast can be quite fun as well, just completely manic. But yeah, the difficulty like scaling is very slow at the beginning.
Yes,
like
very
and you're just like waiting around. Can you imagine what it'd be like if there were 5 of us? So there's that first. I thought this is a lot of fun. I don't know if I'd play it again until they started improving it. And the other thing I started to notice was the mechanics of, upgrading your weapon. Mm-hmm. And, you can change the sight by sights and upgrades. And then, you can get special bullets which are strong against certain enemy types. And you can also get, is it just on the main menu? It's like your defense against certain enemy types. But then when you get to a certain part of the game, I found that all the interesting specking of your weapons and your build just becomes a moot point. It's you don't even think about it. It's like, okay, every round I've got all this money. I'm just going to spend on armor, health, maybe another self-revive if I need it, grenades and ammo. And you're always running out of ammo even when you've maxed out on it. I think if they really started developing like modifiers and like so each
perks.
Person in the team has to think about the builds. I think that could be really interesting. Maybe there could be like perks to do with the actual objectives you've got to do with yourself. Like what if the objective was one of you had to like lockpick something in the time while the others are defending you? Like this is VR.
Yeah.
So I just feel like there's a lot that could be done there, and this is a really good starting point. But like a lot of the interesting mechanics soon become secondary because of just the fact that all you need is just ammo each time, because you're not really having to spend it on anything else once you've got the gun that you want. Yep. The only other thing I'll just quickly say, and I know Bryan will match me on this final point, but there was just a lot of glitches, which always happens with a new game. Mm-hmm. So the first time I went into it, I got the black screen of death where I had to like force quit my PS5, like, force hold the button. You do the special restarts. During playing, some of the zombies pushed me out of a wall, and I managed to go out of the map, jump onto a rock, and then get back into the level. Zombies have special abilities. Maybe that's one of them. I'm willing to give them a pass on that. But then the third one, which is something we all experienced, was there was an explosion, and then it was just distortion really loud where we couldn't hear each other, and we all just, kind of nodded at each other in game and just left the game. Yeah. So there's a lot of issues with it that could be tweaked. But for me, I think Zombies, if it's optimized and they really start balancing the mechanics and making it that the development, like maybe every 5 rounds there's a boss enemy, like a big boss enemy or something interesting like that. So because when it comes to wave shooters, you want like check marks, because when it's just like every other match, it's just every other level, it's just got to kill the waves and then you got to do an objective, that you just get no sense of progression. Whereas if it's like, do you reckon we could kill that boss this time or get to that point next time? I would rather have like, there's only 20 rounds and, the 20th is just ridiculous with a boss. I'd rather have that and play that again and again than just have an endless one where it's just like, there's this real sense of, how well did we do? I don't know. We got to like 20 minutes in. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
There's no identity to it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I do think that I think one of the biggest problems is the super slow difficulty curve. We played for like 45 minutes, and it never really ramped up. Like it got more difficult, but the only reason we quit playing after 45 minutes was because of a glitch, right? Because that sound, the explosion that we sounded, it was just this nonstop distorted sound in our ear. We only stopped after 45 minutes because of a glitch, which was really sad because I think that if it started to get more difficult within the first 5 minutes or so, it'd be something we'd want to go back and play rather than this thing that's like, well, do we have 3 hours to play a round of zombies? I don't know if we have that, but as far as perks.
I was impressed with how many spawns of enemies there were. Like, that it didn't seem to impact frame rate or anything like that. For how fast paced it is, I thought it was quite good. And we don't know how much more chaotic it would have got, but yeah.
They do. They just need to they need to give us the option to increase. By paying the money that you gain by killing zombies, they need to give us the option to like increase our run speed, our reload speed, the overall bullet damage, rate of fire. I mean, there's so many different things. The ability to up your maximum health, because you can you can replenish your health, but it'd be amazing if you could spend a fortune and like up your maximum health, from 100 to 120 or something. Up your armor as well.
They need RPG elements, don't they? Where you have like 5 things like max health, speed, and like each level has an exponential extra cost. So everyone's deciding like, I'll be the runner, you be a tank, and it makes everyone in the team decide what roles they want to play.
But again, it's for a free update for a game that we already thought was pretty cool. I'm gonna say they're off. They're kind of killing it. They're off to a good start. They've now priced the game appropriately. It's currently on sale. And they're obviously putting a lot of love into it. There were people out there who thought that when Alvo dropped, we would never hear from that team again. And that it's been quite the opposite. They have added lots of new maps and lots of new features. The move controls, the separate dual wielding, everything that they added. I'm still getting used to. I can't give you a great first impression of it because I couldn't even figure out how to reload properly. I struggled with that today, so I just went back to the aim controller. But the fact is that these are big things that they're adding, and you got to be kind of impressed with it all. Good stuff. Myles, we got a couple tips. First from Darth. Nope, I'm sorry, we already read that. Thank you, Darth Vader. Again, though. Twitcher, the single player game cat with the 2 quid says, how do we know this is the official Myles Dyer? Because it says Myles Dyer official below his face. Look, right there, Myles Dyer official. Yep. I got to give you a big blue check mark on the screen so people aren't confused. We also got Firebird Old School in the chat with the 100 Sekiro saying 10 dynamite coffee capsules with 218 milligrams. For me, if I add another voice channel in Discord, I guess I'm not going to miss. I guess I'm not going to get any dynamite coffee capsules. It's craziness. But thank you so much for the donation, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel. We love you. Dude, we got to move on. We talked about zombies for a very long time. Also, I didn't even bring this up. They added a resort. They added a brand new map. What did you think? Just real quick before we get out of here. Before we move on to the next topic, what did you think of the new resort map?
We only played it once, and I feel like there's still areas I haven't been in. Like a lot of the maps, you get a sense of what the circuit is. I still feel it's going to take a few plays to get, but really detailed. I've always been impressed with their levels, to be honest. It had a nice sauna in there. It had a nice treadmill to lie on and shoot Bryan from. So yeah.
Yeah, I found Myles camping at one point. I was like, there you are, you motherfucker.
I just fell over on the treadmill. Yeah, you didn't even ask if I was all right. Terrible.
I will say, I kind of realized today that I like combat in environments that are not traditionally meant for combat. I like, people's residences, like a small town, a village, something like that. When it's an actual war zone with tanks and everything else, I'm like, whatever. But I really do like the concept of being like, this is a resort with a spa and a locker room and treadmills. I was like, this is not where you'd expect people to be, hunting each other down and, without making any sort of inappropriate jokes. I could think of a lot of great places the more maps that I'd like to see Alvo add, in Firewall as well. So, all right, man. But let's move on. We got to talk about what's next on our run of show.
We got to talk about the Zenith update, the Celestial Throne update. It's called. They have a blog post,
So,
do you want me
Myles,
should I just read the blog?
yeah. So before we read through this, I just want to clarify. I believe this is all the same big update that they've been teasing, right? They've been talking about cyber ninjas. They've been talking about about a bunch of things. And so I feel like for the last couple months they've been saying, "Oh, this is coming to Zenith, and this is coming to Zenith, and look what else we got. We got another character class." And I believe it's all for the same big update, right? Do you know if that's true or not?
I don't know off the top of my head. I just know that they've been very careful with their wording of updates because they just want to. What I love is in their updates they talk about the philosophy of updates, which I think it does sound a bit like pretentious, but I'm also like, no, communication isn't just about what information you relay; it's also about what the intention is. Like, and they're constantly saying this is why we're telling you this and we're not telling you other things because we don't want to promise stuff that we're not then able to deliver or get to. So I'm not entirely sure if that class is actually involved in this one, but
hey, dude, I missed Jamie out second tip. He said, $2 tip says, stop talking about Alvo. My nips are going soft. That's really funny. He wants us to get to the PSVR2 stuff, and we will as soon as we get through the Zenith update, I promise you.
Yeah. I mean, I'll quickly read the update now. Yeah. So it goes, emerging from the violent storm essence that kept it hidden for the last 60 years, a flying castle hovers down near the surface once more. Within the suspended castle and scattered around the world, adventurers will find 6 new instanced dungeons filled with interactive puzzles, traps, adversaries, and an abundance of treasure. Assemble parties of 4 to 8 players through instance matchmaking. Then get ready to test every skill you have, both as individuals and as a team. So that's interesting already that it involves matchmaking. Because up to now, I haven't been on Zenith for quite a while, but everything was just like it's whoever you're with at the time. So the fact there's going to be matchmaking functionality, I don't know how that's going to work. Does it just teleport people from other areas or other servers? Interesting. Yeah. The first couple seconds of the video that they've released showcases one of its first challenges, the furnace, aka the heart of the castle. The furnace keeps the enormous fortress afloat with the power of superheated flames and lava. You and your party must feed fire starters to the forges to generate updrafts from the heat vents. Well-timed updrafts will then carry you across scorching lava pits and deeper within the furnace to where a beast awaits. That's all we can share for now. Wink. We'll unveil more of the epic endgame raids in the coming weeks. We're also coming up with ways to grant early access to special members of the community, and we'll share details soon. I love the way that they write it. It makes it interesting. Because sometimes they just write, this is what we're releasing, and it's just bullet points. And it's like, yeah, for patch notes, do that. But if you're building this world, take the time to flesh it out. And yeah, credit to them.
Is this going to be enough to get you back into Zenith? Because I've been out since, I don't know, 2 weeks after launch. I think it's been a while since I've had time to play Zenith, and I think this is enough for me to want to even like as soon as they announce a date for this, I'm going to want to get in and level up my character and finish off everything that I wanted to finish off prior to this, and so I'm ready for all these instanced dungeons and stuff. So and kind of prepare myself. Is this enough for you to get back into it?
I honestly don't know. I'm not going to know until it drops because I was obsessed with Zenith. Yeah. Played it all the time.
You did a lot of cooking.
Yeah, the cooking was great, even though it was glitchy at times. But then when the big update happened, where they fixed like the final mission worked, so you could play that. And then I remember going to the big boss battle, and it just crashed. Like there were so many players, and it was like worse than it was before. And it's just one of those moments where just an interest, like nerve in my brain, just went, no, not into this anymore, and I just deleted the game. And I thought I'll come back. There needs to be a substantial update for me to come back. Like coming back for increments. It's kind of how I felt with the Destiny game. Like for those. Because I have invested so much time in it, like tens and tens of hours. It's not like I didn't enjoy it. I loved the game. I played so much of it. But I want to come back when I know there's a lot of cool stuff to grind for. because what I learned from my days of playing Destiny is they used to, bring in maybe 1 or 2 bits of new gear that you would spend all this time grinding for, hoping to get the right drops. Whereas you'd have been better off waiting a year, and then you'd realise you'd have more things to unlock in a shorter amount of time. So yeah, I don't know. I might jump into it. Depends who's up for giving it a go.
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be back, and hopefully it's a good time.
I think they are going to be mindful that with the next generation of PSVR2, for a team that small to have achieved this, they will have had so many AAA companies with their eyes on this. We were speaking about it last week with this fantasy game being made, and sort of speculating, would they actually do a VR version? When they've seen the popularity that such a small team has done with this, companies are going to be saying, well, we have the infrastructure, especially with PSVR2 and the PS5 hardware, to do a AAA version of a World of Warcraft style VR game. Yep. So, much love to them, but the truth is that that's how the platform is. It's open. You can't control your competitors. There's a storm coming, and so they need to really keep updating this and build that community to ensure that when the new games come out, people still stick with them, because they will if they do it well.
Yeah, see, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of the bigger developers are still thinking of VR as a very small market, and so I do think that these guys at Ramen VR have the upper hand and say, we've been working with the infrastructure, we know how what makes a VR game feel good. Obviously, we've all played Zenith, we know that it feels really good to play. They nailed some of those things, like simple things like flying, right, or gliding, just. In every single interaction pretty much involves you reaching out and grabbing on, to the zip line or whatever it is. And it just feels like a really tangible game. You get to climb pretty much everything. So these guys do have a leg up, I think. And for $30, I also think that they kind of killed it out of the gate. Just kind of an amazing PSVR game. And obviously with the crossplay and everything else that they've got going on, really, really killed it. So I'd venture to guess that these guys have something in the works for PSVR too, whether it just be Zenith, the exact same game with crossplay that just looks beautiful and plays better and works better. That would be my bet, man. That would be my bet. Anyway, man, we've tortured Jamie out long enough, haven't we? It's time to start talking about some PSVR2 stuff, and we don't.
Nah. You know what?
You want to say that till
Should
Monday?
we just call it quits? Because we'll be talking about it next week, so maybe we just end it here. Should we do 20 questions? What does Joe think?
We shouldn't even do 20 questions. We should, right? No one likes 20 questions. We should just end the show here. We've covered all the boring stuff. Let's call it a day. Yeah, man. We should let's talk about the state of play. We got a. Hold on a second.
You can the blog up.
Yeah. I'm dude. Nobody has any idea, but I was not prepared for today's show whatsoever. But luckily I had Myles.
If you bring it up on screen, I can read the stuff as it's coming up, because the opening is, it's been more than 2 months since our last state of play. Who's ready for a new one? I love that they have the audacity to open up with that. It's like, yeah, we know you've been. It's just Jim Ryan gets paid to sit there at his desk and just watch Twitter melting down constantly of, when are you going to tell us? And he's like, yes.
It's true. It's true. I mean, it's the PlayStation.
That is their marketing strategy.
And even really the Xbox silence and video games in general, man. I feel like everything's been so silent for so long that it's like, here they are. They're finally saying something. They're finally doing something, and it's. I mean, it's. Let's finish reading this, and then we'll get into it a little bit.
Yeah. So they say, tune in live next Thursday, June 2nd, for nearly 30 minutes. Now, nearly 30 minutes doesn't mean over 30 minutes. It means under, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, quite frequently they say, I mean, they're saying nearly 30 minutes, but they say roughly. It's usually they say roughly or about or approximately.
Yeah.
And usually it's a couple minutes longer than whatever it is they say. Yeah. Nearly 30 minutes makes me think 27 and a half.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. 30 minutes of announcements and updates from the world of PlayStation. We'll have some exciting reveals from our third-party partners, plus a sneak peek at several games in development for PlayStation PSVR2.
Yeah.
Watch over at Twitch or on YouTube starting 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and 12 a.m. Central European time.
Yeah. And for clarification, don't watch their channel. Come over to Without Parole and watch it with us, because we're going to do, check this out, guys. First and foremost, like, a shout out to every single co-host I have, including the one that's right here or right below me right now, Myles Dyer. We also got, obviously AJ and Wes Dylan. All four of us, for the very first time, to celebrate this PSVR2 adjacent state of play, we're all going to be there on Thursday next week, 5:30 p.m. We're going to do a half-hour pre-show together, and then with you guys, we're going to watch the entire show together and react live, and then of course we'll do a wrap-up afterwards. Never once have all four hosts been on the same stream, and so hopefully this shows you how super excited and super, I guess confident would be the word, that this is something to be excited for. How confident are you, Myles, that this is something we should be excited for?
I mean, I owe you a pizza for the bet.
Oh yeah. Because you said nothing till September, right? You didn't think there was going to be anything till September.
Well, I said the headset and the reveal of the costing and that won't be. But I don't know. I'd have to look back. Maybe I didn't say anything. I said they might tease a few things beforehand. But yeah, look, it's going to be a pizza party, all right? And I'm happy to get you a pizza. No, I'm super excited for this because we're now getting tangible things, and also even more excited now that I'm going to be on the show with you, Wes and AJ. I love those guys. Obviously, I tune into all the shows 3 days a week, although I don't watch mine. That would be a bit weird. I'm kind of watching mine now. Kind of counts. Yeah. But no, it's going to be really great just to spend quality time with them and just, having our enthusiasm out there and, in the preamble, thinking about what we're going to see. And they mentioned several. And several is an interesting word because it doesn't matter how many times I hear it. Anytime I hear several, I'm like, what does several actually mean? So I looked up the dictionary definition of several is more than two, but not many. It says, but not many.
It's only a 30-minute show. It's only a 30-minute show. Of the 30 minutes, give me a percentage. What percentage of the 30 minutes will be PSVR2 focused? Do you think this is going to be like, some people have been like, oh, they're just going to tack on some PSVR2 things at the end of the show, which, let's be fair, that's more than we've gotten for a very, very, very long time. Like, this is them just starting the PSVR2 conversation. I want to be clear about that. So even if it is just a few minutes, even if it is just a little bit, even if it just feels tacked on, at least it's something. It's like this little morsel when we're dying out here in the middle of the fucking desert. Thank you for whatever you're giving us. I feel like I'm sucking Sony's cock right now as we talk, right? Because I'm just like, thank you for giving me anything, right? It's like, but seriously, it's been a long fucking wait, and this is the beginning of the conversation, and so I'm kind of happy to get anything, knowing that like over the next 6 months we're going to get a whole lot more. But that aside, as I take Jim Ryan's big massive cock out of my mouth, how many of the 30 minutes do you think this is just? I'm so glad my mom is not watching this. My mom's totally watching this. I'm sorry, Mom, and also sorry, Dad. How many minutes of the 30 do you think are PSVR2? Sirens on my end.
It's really difficult to decide because, again, looking at the terminology, they go, we'll have some exciting reveals from our third-party partners, which is, okay, that's normal,
yep.
Plus a sneak peek at several games in development for PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah. I
feel that the issue is that VR is whenever they throw the odd VR thing here and there, the chat is always like, oh, we don't care about this because it's a different sort of community. And I feel that in order for this to fly, they need to really sell the thing that we always dream about of, do you like these games? Well, these are going to be available in PSVR 2. Yeah. I think if they are really going to make a noise about PSVR 2, it has to be a big splash. And a big splash doesn't just mean a big title. It means volume as well. They can't just show another short Call of the Mountain clip. They need to really sell this next gen, essence of what PSVR 2 is. So I think, I feel like it's got to be 15 minutes. Yeah. 10 to 15 minutes. I feel like 10 minutes would be super conservative. I feel like it'd be closer to 15. How do you feel?
I saw Wes in the chat, and I think Lose Reviews, a few other people in the chat say 10 minutes maximum, and I'm kind of there with them. I don't think this is like, even though we're calling it a PSVR2 state of play, it's only because that's the part we're focused on. That's the part we care about. I don't care what else they show us. I guarantee you, I'm not going to care much about anything else. Like, because even the big flat screen games, even the biggest flat screen games that are coming out right now, obviously everybody wants to hear more about Ragnarok. This won't be that, right? But even if Ragnarok was there, I'd still be like, I don't care. This is a PSVR2 state of play for me. And I think the wording that they used is very intentional. Sneak peek. Several. It's just, maybe we'll get a few more minutes of, I don't know what, Call of the Mountain. Maybe they'll reveal a couple more games. I was talking to Pacer in voice chat before the show, when I should have been getting ready for the show, obviously. And he was sort of the opinion like that he doesn't care about the obvious ones, right? Because you, me, AJ, Wes, we've all been talking about Gran Turismo 7 as if it's definite, Half-Life Alyx as if it's definite, Resident Evil Village as if it's definite, Grand Theft Auto 5 as if it's definite. These are all things that we keep saying, oh, obviously this is going to happen, right? Obviously, this just makes sense. If Sony wants to sell it, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, I don't even care about the obvious ones because I want to hear about ones I don't know about. I was like, but we don't know about those. We've just been saying. And so I'm a little bit concerned that like we see them, they get confirmed, and then we go, oh, we just assumed all those were coming. Like that somehow it loses impact for us because we've been speculating for so long, right? So like, I'm a little concerned that even with big titles, we're all going to walk away and go, yeah, that's what we expected.
The other thing I'd add is the fact that they're saying, we got exciting reveals from our third-party partners. There are so many first-party games that have been in development for a while now, which are not in this, and I suspect are going to be in the September thing, which is huge, absolutely huge. And so I just feel that Sony are going to want to drop one big VR surprise. Because I think, like Horizon Call of the Mountain, I think that goes towards, PlayStation fans. But VR fans, I think they need something even more mainstream, which would be like a Grand Theft Auto 5 VR.
Yeah.
Or Fortnite VR.
Yes.
We're going to get to this in a moment. So I won't speculate anymore. But yeah, like the two things, and what we're next going to talk about is, firstly, what do we think is a likely possibility of what they could show, and we've got a massive list here, and then we'll go into like sort of our big dreams and that. But like we've got to think about it like this: are they going to be first-party games? Are they going to be third-party games? Are they going to be remasters? Are they just going to be teasers like Call of the Mountain? Because the Call of the Mountain, that thing is like 2 minutes long, but it's only 15 seconds of. Which is why I do think it could be up to 15 minutes because there could be a lot of talking about the tech as well.
Yes.
Like, especially if we have some big developers, they could be saying, this is why we are so... Because if you go on screen Naughty Dog and you got Neil Druckmann there saying we're so excited to be doing VR, everyone's going to be like, what? Naughty Dog's doing VR? And they can milk that. They can have him talking about the technology and it's like, and now we have, factions in VR, for example. The Last of Us factions in VR. So I don't know. There could be a lot there. And are we going to see much gameplay? Gameplay is sometimes hard to show. Really polished. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
I just think it's really important. And I know I'm sort of just like beating this drum pretty fucking hard right now. But I'm not ready to stop because this, again, I think this is just the beginning of the conversation. And you referred to a September event that could be possible, but like, I don't think, with Xbox, this is E3 season. Xbox is doing a big event in June, right? June 2nd, the state of play. This is not Sony's response to E3 season or Xbox doing a big event.
No.
This is them sort of getting some stuff out of the way, right?
Yeah.
Some stuff that maybe wasn't big enough for their big show. Like, I don't think we're going to wait. Once this show goes down, I don't think we're waiting till September to see something else about PSVR 2. I think we could see a big show during E3 season. like, by the end of June. I think we could see something else. So like State of Play kind of kicks things off, and then we see a whole lot more. As you said, Sony has so many things happening first party style that they're not going to want to reveal during a State of Play. It's too big for that. And then even things like, hybrid games. I don't think a State of Play is the right place to talk about PSVR2 hybrid games, because that requires like somebody on stage saying, look, here's how you play it with a DualSense. And then boom, now I've got my PSVR2 headset on, and look at the difference. Look at how you played this exact same game in first-person VR mode. Like, this is what our definition of a hybrid game, and show that off. That doesn't work in a State of Play. So, like, regardless of what gets shown on Thursday, I want everyone to remember, this is, like, just the first step. And I think the next step is closer than you think it is. That's all I'm saying.
But I would say there are hybrid games that they could do. For example, Grand Theft Auto 5 VR, they don't even need to show it being played in VR. Like, they don't need to show, because it's so popular.
Yeah.
That is something they could say, this is coming soon. It was like when they announced the enhanced PS5 edition, which was so disappointing. But like, they just had to like tease it, and everyone just lost their mind. What is the thing that's going to go berserk on Twitter? Grand Theft Auto 5 VR. But no, I'm with you though.
The cats are chiming in the chat, by the way, before you tell me what you think. Bell Ramy, the Game Cat, with the €50. Thank you very much, Bell, for supporting the channel. Says 20 minutes of Final Fantasy 16, 4 minutes of PSVR 2, 0 VR gameplay, and everyone will still freak out.
Yeah. I have to say though, Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Part 2, I think is going to be there, and that will.
Wow.
Final Fantasy 7 Part 2, I think is going to be there.
That feels like such a stage event type of thing. That feels like such an E3 thing. That it's interesting because I still don't think after all this time that Sony really knows what State of Play means. I don't think that they have figured out what they want to use that platform for yet. And currently they're using it for kind of everything. It's like there's State of Plays where you're like, oh, was there anything interesting there? And then you find some people who are like, oh, I love Star Ocean. This is great. Or, this or that game seemed really cool to me. But it seems like they're using it for big things. They're using it for small things. They're using it to just show 30 minutes of, like, did they call that Hogwarts Legacy thing a State of Play?
Yeah, they have ones for specific games. Okay, so let me ask you this, Brian.
Yeah.
Do you honestly think that would this, if the strategy is to get more people who aren't PSVR users at the moment excited about PSVR 2, do you think they're going to get more people on board by positioning it like this, which is we have a State of Play with third-party games and sneak peek at PSVR 2, or if they said this State of Play is PSVR 2, that could be arguably less effective, because we'd be going, well, great, because now we know what it is, but there'll be a load of people going, I'm not a VR gamer, so I'm not going to watch it. So in a way, this could be a way of them saying, let's just test the waters, and this is how we bring people in. If it was just us, we would love it to have been, this State of Play is about PSVR 2. It's going to be 25 minutes of PSVR 2 titles. We'd be all like, this is the best thing ever. But actually, in terms of reaching out to new or PS5 owners that have never had a VR headset before, a lot of them are going to go, I'm not going to watch it. It's not my thing. And if anything's good, it'll be brought up later. No, this could be actually a way of bringing people on side. So,
yeah. So, I mean, do you think this, what you're saying is you're kind of thinking that they're using a State of Play to sort of Trojan horse getting PSVR 2 in front of people who wouldn't otherwise be interested? Yeah,
I think so. I feel that, I don't know is the answer. Is like I don't know what the strategy could be, but I just feel that our inclination is for them to do a PSVR 2 State of Play. Would seem like a dream to me. Of just knowing, okay, this is all going to be PSVR 2.
The lowest viewership ever, right?
Right, but that's what I mean. But I do think it would plummet for that reason. So my point is, I think it could be 15-20 minutes of VR. It could be as low as 8 to 10 minutes. I honestly think anything's possible, which is exciting.
Well, Pietrek F with the 9 plantains in the chat says Resident Evil 8, Alex, Gran Turismo 7. Sorry, I always get my GT screwed up. Horizon, boom. And I honestly think if those are the 4 games they showed off, Resident Evil 8, Half-Life Alyx, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Call of the Mountain, like literally 2 minutes of each of those, I think the internet might collapse upon itself. I think we will get so excited, and VR gamers out there will be so excited. Like that's all they really need. Like they don't really need to go any further than that. And I think that's maybe best case scenario. Honestly, I don't think we're going to see more than that. We'll see. We also got Wally is now a game cat, specifically a white tiger with Canadian $2 tip says, I'm just happy we have actual real PSVR2 news. Yeah, same.
Like, true. And it does become a blurred line for us, doesn't it? Of, when we report on speculation and stuff that's actually been publicized, like the investor call stuff. Like, yeah, all of us listen to it because we're tuned into the community, but the people out there still know very little about it. So, yeah.
Bill Ramy with the game cat with another €50. Jesus, dude. I think
wow.
You just paid all my bills for the month. So just in case I can't be here Thursday because I'm visiting the Colosseum in Rome. Wow. Awesome. Here is some pre-show pizza money. Thank you so much, man. Like really, really, really appreciate it. Okay.
Pre-show that means I don't have to get Bryan a pizza now because that covers it. Cheers.
Oh, Bell's paying your pizza debt?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what you meant.
I don't know if that's how it works. Well, though, just talk to AJ and find out how many pizza bets have actually been paid. The answer is very few, if any. No, none. Listen, you mentioned the investor call, so we should probably get to that before we get too late into the show, where Jim Ryan talked about PlayStation VR 2 and said that there will be more than 20 major PSVR 2 games available at launch. Myles, before we get into the specifics of the wording of that and what we assume it means, exciting or not exciting?
Very exciting. Because it just means we're moving towards some tangible release. There's a reason it's brought up on an investor call, and yeah, we will get to the wording in a moment because that also comes into play. But yeah, that's exciting. It's now prepping, Yeah.
So then we get into the wording. Right, because I'm right there with you, man. Like PlayStation VR 1, I'm happy they're talking about the PSVR 2 launch, right? It makes it sound like it's imminent, which I think most of us, again, very, very would be thrilled to find out that all the information I've heard is wrong, that we'll see it Q4 this year. That would be amazing. Don't get me wrong.
It's launched on Thursday.
Right, and it's available right now. One more thing. Here it is. All right.
Sold out.
Right, this is why we haven't been hyping it, because it's on store shelves right now. This is all the hype we need. But this is, but yeah, if it comes out in Q1 2023, that's basically what we're expecting here. But it's good to hear that you're talking about it. But with PSVR 1, there were over 20 launch games as well. And when you look at the PSVR 1 launch games, you'll find things like, I don't know, Ace Banana, 100-Foot Robot Golf. I mean, there were decent games like Headmaster and Here They Lie was great. But, and there were a few big games like Drive Club VR and Eve Valkyrie. But I mean, so that's why initially it's like, okay, 20 games at launch didn't mean too much to me. But do you think when he says more than 20 major PSVR 2 titles at launch, that he's referring to things that are not Ace Banana, things that are not 100-Foot Robot Golf, like things that people will actually consider major?
So when PSVR 1 came out, Sony would have definitely worked with developers to get them on site, but a lot of them are going to be indie. This is testing new territory, see what they could do. This time round, especially with the idea of hybrid games and things like that, and having to sell, right, we've got to now build upon it. People know what VR is now, and we need to make it more mainstream. For me, these 20 games are going to be first and third party developers that Sony have been working closely with, so giving them dev kits way in advance, making sure they use all the technology to its advantages. There'll be a lot of cross collaboration, I'm sure, and learnings from previous games. So yeah, I think that these 20 are going to be a big deal. I reckon there could be 50 plus games at launch, because we spoke offline in the voice chat about it before. Well, technically online. I mean, off this show, about the idea that, there are going to be lots of developers that no PSVR2 is coming, and without any prompt from PlayStation, they are going to be running at the chance to either release a game for it or remaster a PSVR1 title, because they're like, this is another wave of audience that we can get on board. Like, this is going to be such an exciting launch that there's going to be huge appetite to be a part of this, whether you're a AAA developer or an indie developer that wouldn't have been there for the PSVR1 title launch.
Yeah, I mean, Fast Travel's been teasing the fact that they've got multiple PSVR2 games in development. We know that End Dreams has a AAA studio, and they've been teasing that they're working on multiple PSVR2 games. You have to assume that Survios, who has been saying that they fully expect PSVR2 to be the future of VR, that they've got at least one. I mean, they've made so many games over the last 6 years. They've probably got at least a couple in the works. What's happened with Impulse Gear, Larcenauts was just a huge misstep for them after Farpoint. I mean, you can just rattle off all these different developers and saying, what the hell have they been doing? And I think the clear answer has been they've been working on a PSVR2 game, right? It's like, what is White Moon Dreams doing? What is, those guys made Starblood Arena and obviously, and they ported Saints and Sinners, and they've done a bunch of amazing things for PSVR. But like, is it time for them to make their next, their new IP? Or maybe bring Starblood Arena back from the dead. And you can just start pointing to every single one of these studios. When is Sin Studio going to be ready with their next game? Are they going to have something at the launch of PSVR 2? Will they have Swordsman there? Will they have a new game there? Like there's just, the VR industry has grown up so much with us over the last 5 or 6 years that a lot of these developers we didn't really even give much attention to at one point are now sort of the front runners. The people that like you need to be paying attention to, because yes, we'll get a lot of hybrid games, but there should be excitement for the stuff that's built from the ground up for VR as well.
Yeah,
a lot of
no, absolutely, Brian. So I think we should probably just whiz through. There's loads of tips coming in with suggestions from Gamecast that we can read through as well. But in terms of what PSVR2 games we think are likely to be shown, and we don't mean all of these because it could be just 4, but ones that are on the cards, let's say.
And this isn't. Let's be clear. I want to make sure that we've moved on and we're talking about PSVR2 launch, right? Like,
yeah,
okay. Because so when Jim Ryan says there's going to be over 20 PSVR2 games at launch, these are let's get the easy ones out of the way first. What are the ones that we think are definitely going to be there? Then we'll get to our grand finale of dream PSVR games.
So, Gran Turismo 7, we're all pretty confident about, aren't we?
I mean, yeah.
I mean, when I say confident, we have no reason to suspect this is confirmed, but it seems like a good choice.
Well, they've obviously got interest in PSVR 2, or they've obviously got interest in VR in general. They tried, apparently, their damnedest. Polyphony Digital tried their damnedest to get Gran Turismo 6 Sport. Oh man, I'm so done with numbers and so sequels, man. Can you make a different game, something other than Gran Turismo, something easier to remember the name of, like Omega Boost? Yeah. Can you make Omega Boost too? Anyway, yes. So yeah, no, Gran Turismo 7 for sure, right? And it's going to be like this is their chance to say, hey, this thing is going to look photorealistic. We're going to push the capabilities and show you what like next gen VR really looks like. And part of me actually thinks that this is the game that when Shuhei Yoshida was like walking around, was it GDC with Greg, what's his name? Right. And they were just pulling people into hotel rooms saying, check out PSVR 2. Foomp. Part of me thinks it was Gran Turismo 7 that they were showing because I mean, what an amazing showpiece that would be. Anyway, what else we got?
Yeah. So Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, that goes without saying, but we should say it just so people don't accuse us of missing that one out.
Well, and also the fact that during the investor call, they used the Call of the Mountain image in logo as almost like a thumbnail right above where they said 20 plus games available at launch. It was like, well, if that's not one of your launch titles, then that was a weird use of that image for sure.
I'm going to go for this as a launch title because PlayStation have got close relationships with a lot of these third parties. Resident Evil Village, I just think the success of Resident Evil 7, arguably, well, on this channel, the best PSVR game. It was clear they were not going to be able to make. Well, they could have made a PSVR 1 version, but there's a reason they didn't, and it's because they're waiting for greater tech. Resident Evil Village, I think, definitely.
I just looked at this list that you made. Is the next game you're really going to say is Bug Snacks? Are you really about to say Bug Snacks?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, don't get me wrong. Bug Snacks was adorable, and I think that's an inventive pick. But
I think it's not just about the big hitters of games. Like Bug Snacks was a PS5 launch title.
Yeah.
I played it and actually I enjoyed it. It felt like Pokemon Snap, which I actually never played, but it was nice to see a sort of modern version of it.
Okay.
But having played this, my thoughts as I was playing it was, this could totally work in VR. And yeah, I think Bug Snacks VR could be I know it's a silly suggestion.
No,
but
it's
like,
a great suggestion, and it's probably accurate. It's probably accurate, man. Like, and it just wasn't one that was even on my radar. But I think you're 100% right. This makes a lot of sense. Because
especially when it comes, because this is the thing about the PSVR 2 with the PS5. It's like the whole point of hybrid isn't just about can we make epic flat screen games in VR.
Yep.
It also reduces the barrier of porting flat screen games and saying, with very little redevelopment, we will have the infrastructure that we can just. Obviously, it's still going to take development time, but it just means that there are a lot of quick wins, and it just widens the window. How many people that love Bug Snacks are now going to go back and play it because they can now play it in VR?
Yeah,
And
I think we should as far as obvious games go, as far as ones that we've said 1,000 times that we think are going to happen. I think we already said Grand Theft Auto 5, right? Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean that's what that I've got that more on my wish list because I just think it's. Do you know what's interesting about the Grand Theft Auto 5 one? Although I've been banging on about it for way over a year now, is at the Facebook or the Meta showcase a year ago, or in October of last year.
Yeah,
they announced that San Andreas is being made in VR for the Oculus.
Right.
So I see that, and at first I'm like, does that mean that, Grand Theft Auto 5, they're not ready to do a VR because they want to do it with San Andreas first? But then I'm also like, maybe it's just because they haven't had a device that's powerful enough to do it.
Yeah,
if PlayStation have nailed, because again, this is what I was just mentioning a moment ago about the hybrid. The hybrid is not just about flat screen games and making them VR games. Mm-hmm. It's actually about creating the infrastructure that makes things easily portable from one to the other. And if PlayStation are going to these devs and going, this isn't just about saying that you can create really good PSVR 2 titles now, we can help you make them VR with this infrastructure, then yeah, maybe Rockstar Games, who have been doing all sorts of partnerships with Sony, could actually be going, yeah, no, let's do it. I mean, and of course it's going to blow up.
Let's cut through the bullshit here, right? San Andreas was a great Grand Theft Auto game, but it was also the PS2 generation, and the biggest game on Quest in the last, probably since it came out, it was Resident Evil 4, also part of the PS2 generation, right?
Right.
So I think you're kind of seeing like, okay, well, this is sort of the limits of what's capable on that hardware, and so yeah, so I do think that it's like, okay, well, this is great. It's one of the best Grand Theft Auto games. People are going to love playing it in VR. That's awesome. But then Sony's got a great relationship with Rockstar and Take-Two or whatever it is, and they've always had stuff happening on Plus first or premium, Grand Theft Auto options happening with the PlayStation brand, and it only really makes sense for them to say, yeah, absolutely, let them go fucking make San Andreas on Quest, but yeah, make Grand Theft Auto 5 happen here, make Grand Theft Online happen here, right? Have this like persistent world you can hang out with your friends and do all sorts of crazy shit, and then that will allow us to show the difference between mobile VR hardware and what we're trying to do over here, which is radically different, which is what we're trying to give people console quality VR games. And so I think it makes a lot of sense, that strategy.
Yeah, no, totally.
And of course, Half-Life Alyx, which we've had playing down here for the better part of 5 minutes. And again, it's on the obvious list because Sony is seeking out people who are making great third-party VR content. And this is on the obvious list only because it's generally regarded as one of the best, if not the best, VR games out there. And so if you're being very proactive, this is one of the first gets you try to get. And so if they haven't gotten it, then I'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah. Just to rattle off a few other categories that we can dive into, ones that you want to have a say on, Bryan. But yeah. I feel like there's going to be a PlayStation World style game. Like if they're going to do a montage, there's going to be, it's not necessarily a PlayStation World, but I feel like they're going to do a game that has a selection of experiences. I also think that there's going to be some project with Epic Games. Unreal 5 have been ramping up their promo of this, Unreal 5 engine. We've seen the train station clip made in the engine that looks like it could be in VR. I feel like that there's something going on with Epic Games and PlayStation, whether it's a Fortnite VR or it's something else. I think there's.
And we saw that email a while back too, when they were trying to get the Fortnite crossplay multiplayer up and running. They were like, "Hey, we know you got a next gen headset coming. Like, do you want us to make a launch game? Is this something that can like kind of sway things into our favor and get crossplay up and running without a hassle?" And so like so even Epic is suggesting to Sony, "Hey, let us make you a launch game so that we can further our relationship together." What a fucking great email that was, right? And and who knows what came from that email? I would venture to guess that's what came from it. Very much. And Fortnite, obviously, because they're going after big titles, man. Sony knows full well that Immortal Legacy does not sell VR headsets. Uncharted VR would sell VR headsets. You can't use nameless IPs, and so and I think they've learned a lot of hard lessons. I don't know.
But is Astrobot going to be here for launch?
I think in some way, right? In some way,
either the playroom style or a full game. Like it could be either.
I don't think a full game, right? I think a playroom style PSVR2 game, which I mean, like in all fairness, the DualSense game was pretty damn good, right? There was a lot to it. Yeah, and so if it was even of that length, of that caliber, I'd be really happy. And then maybe we'll get Astrobot Rescue Mission 2 later down the line, right?
Yeah. That sounds like a possibility. And then I've also got here. Do you know what? No, I'm not. I'm going to put that on my wish list. I'm moving it now.
Well, so here's something that I haven't really talked about publicly. I did talk about it in voice chat just before the show, and so bear with me here. I think we're going to see Killzone VR at launch. Now, Killzone is. Trying to figure out how to go about this here. Once upon a time, people always ask me what I know, and sometimes what I know doesn't. There's no reason to tell people what I know, and it's like maybe it's like find a creative way to go about being like, hey, I wanted to create this special 5-minute video documenting the history of Killzone VR because I've known about it for a really long time, but somehow word hasn't gotten out about it. And so, and I'm not under any kind of NDA about this. So let me tell you guys the story of Killzone VR. Everybody snuggle up. This might be a minute. So, so everybody was wondering what Supermassive Games was doing after the Inpatient and Bravo team and obviously Rush of Blood. And Sony had contracted Supermassive Games to make Killzone VR for PlayStation VR 1. And it was in development for years. Sony ultimately wasn't happy with the progress that was made, right? This was in 2019. And so when you look at how everything kind of lines up, Sony pulled back development from Supermassive of Killzone VR and brought development back in-house internally. And so you got to figure that if they started even from scratch saying, hey, here's an IP that we know people love, that here we're trying to make this a VR title. This might be the way forward for Killzone. If they're not going to start development on a PSVR 1 title in 2019. I think at that point everybody saw the writing on the wall. They saw that PSVR 1 was like a mild success at best. and that maybe let's not waste our efforts on a game that's coming out in 3 years from now. The headset's probably going to be dead by then. Like we should be looking at next gen. And so my theory is that Sony said, let's look forward and let's start development of Killzone VR as a PSVR2 title. And I'm going to go to bat on this one and say, I'm betting it could be a launch title, and maybe they'll even show it at State of Play. Maybe they'll show it at a showcase, but I think everyone's going to fucking lose their minds. It's easily been in development for 3 years by the time it comes out, 3.5, 4. So I think Killzone VR will be there at launch.
Yeah, I think that there has to be a really hard-hitting first-person shooter, like in VR. I just wish there was an aim controller for PSVR2. That's the only thing. Oh man,
agreed.
Great. And then there's the conversation around what PlayStation VR 1 remasters are going to be at launch. We're not going to talk about that tonight, but it's something I don't think they would really show at this event.
I don't think so. Yeah.
That's going to be just when you get PSVR 2 and you're looking at the store, there are 20 launch games. There's also going to be, and there's also these upgrades you can get as well. Kind of what happened with the PS5.
I know we have a lot of tips to read, but before we even get to the tips, I do want to read Baron's message in the chat. He said, I saw The Last of Us in the thumbnail. Did we talk about it yet? I just threw a lot of Sony IPs into the thumbnail. It's very last minute, to be honest with you. But I do think I've said again and again that there's no reason for The Last of Us to be remade for PlayStation 5. It was an amazing looking end of generation PS3 game that looked already like a PS4 game. So when they brought it to PS4, it didn't look that much better. They just improved the frame rate and whatever. And so we've already played this game twice, most of us, maybe more than that. And so why would you just be remaking this game that we've already played twice in the last 2 generations, very recently, unless you didn't have some kind of hybrid plan for it?
Oh, Bryan, don't do this
because
to me.
Come on, man. As great as The Last of Us was, can you imagine how much more intimate it would be and how much more dangerous and scary it would feel if you were playing it in first person, holding onto the wall frack style and pulling yourself around the corner and being in, or going into that echolocation, that sort of, the thing where you see the outlines of the enemies. Doing that in first person, terrifying. VR, terrifying. Yeah. Right? And then or you know what? Screw it. Get rid of the echolocation stuff altogether. Get rid of the outline and just use your heads, your ears to hear where they are. Right? Everything goes deadly quiet and all you hear are the enemies around you, and you have to rely on your ears to find them instead of the visual echolocation. Actually use your ears. Come on, man. Come on. Tell me that's not a no-brainer.
Dude. No, I'm with you. That would be phenomenal. And when you think of Naughty Dog have always pushed the boundaries, it's like if they were gonna... I mean, I know one of the reasons they're doing the remake, it's they want parity for when the HBO special comes out. They want people to be able to go back and the first one doesn't feel as dated and clanky.
I get that. It makes sense, right?
But I'm not saying that to go against what you say, because again, as they're doing the remake, it could be, no, there's also... I don't think they would make it solely VR, but doing a VR version, dude, that would be mind-blowing.
Oh, absolutely hybrid. Absolutely hybrid. This is Sony has yet to get on stage or anywhere. Sony's never used the word hybrid game publicly. This is a term that they used during the developer summit. They have never talked about hybrid games publicly. Can you imagine if the first time they used the word hybrid games in front of people and demonstrated to the world, they were demonstrating it with the fucking Last of Us? Oh man, people would lose their minds. They'd be like, oh, now we understand what hybrid games mean. It's not just Resident Evil 7 in VR. It's like, I'm fucking Joel, and this is insane.
Yeah, because going back to the announcement of this event, they've said third-party partners for the exciting reveals, but it says a sneak peek at several games in development for PlayStation VR 2. There's no reason why those can't be first-party. Yeah.
All right, dude, we got so many tips to read. Can we get to the tips? All right, put a pin in it. Remy of the Game Cat with the €10 says, I'm also pretty excited about the stuff that isn't games. PSVR Home, rumored callers for sports and event streaming. Callers?
Yep.
What are callers?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Sports and movies.
Movies feels like Sony can and might really push other use cases this time. Absolutely. PlayStation Home, hanging out with your friends in a big screen VR style room. It seems like I don't know if you watched the entire investor call, but it seems like they're bringing the video service back in some way, shape, or form. Even if it's just for Plus members, that could be all tied into PlayStation Home and watching movies in VR.
They've been testing it in Poland for a while now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Waleed is now a Game Cat, specifically a White Tiger with Canadian $5 tip, says, my predictions, Resident Evil 8, Horizon, Alex, something from Naughty Dog. How insightful of you. Endream's next game. PSVR2 will be the most important hardware of this decade. I think the hardware is going to be amazing, but I really do think that as amazing as the hardware is going to be, I do think that people are finally going to realize what VR games are capable of. I think the games are going to outshine the hardware very quickly. But yes, we need the hardware to play the games. I'm with you, Waleed. Darth Vader, the Game Cat, $10 tip, says PSVR 2 is going to blow the top off the VR community as a whole. There are so many people excited for this headset. All Sony has to do is show us those games.
Yeah, that could help. That could definitely help.
And then Shapeshifter, the amorphous Game Cat with the €5 says, I think he meant Knack. Might do a Knack VR as well. Then, like, remember Knack? I can't believe there was ever a Knack 2. If there's ever a Knack 3, I'm just not really sure. It's
Knack 3 VR.
Knack was so. I hated Knack. I got Knack at the
and that'd be
PS4.
Knack 3 VR. This time it's personal. Yeah.
Oh my god. Maybe this time it's good because I don't know. I didn't play Knack 2. Maybe it got better. I have no idea. I can't. I don't like the character design. I'm just not interested, unfortunately.
Right, Brian.
Yes.
It's time for us to dream big. Dream big.
Dream.
What PSVR?
Dream.
What are
I don't want to get a copyright claim, so go ahead.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, it was perfect pitch. What PSVR 2?
I spit it back in the cup, so we're all good.
That's right. It's going in eventually. What? Give yourself a little mouthwash there. Yeah,
that was great, man. That was great.
What PSVR 2 games would we dream of them showing? Let's just do this next Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay, we are, keeping our expectations low, and we think the big ones are going to be held till September. But let's just think crazy for a moment.
Okay.
What are the games we would love that would blow our minds if next Thursday they just dropped it? BioShock.
And I don't care about
trilogy.
2. No, I don't even care about 2 or Infinite, honestly. BioShock 1, the first one, was awesome, amazing. I need that in VR. I've been needing that in my veins for like 6 years now. Been asking for it, begging for it. Please, whose dick do I have to suck? What about you, Myles?
I don't want to suck. So I had as my wishes the GTA 5 and Fortnite VR. The next one, which actually AJ touches upon in the chat with Metal Gear Solid. But I'm thinking about the Hideo Kojima game he's next working on. He keeps talking about this horror game he's working on that he says he wants to make the scariest game ever made. If that is VR, I'm not playing it, but I'm happy.
Okay, first of all, yes, you are.
Yeah, I am.
Because I'm going to make you, and then we're all going to watch you play. We're all going to laugh hysterically. But on top
it'll
of
be
that,
amazing.
But on top of that, you can't. I'm sorry. No offense to people who still love flat screen gaming. It's fine, right? But horror games have evolved, and horror games have evolved into VR games. You can't make a game as scary as even a kind of a crappy horror game in VR is way scarier than the scariest flat screen horror game. I'm sorry, that's just how it is.
Dude, there were horror games I used to not be able to deal with on the flat screen, which I can easily play now, having played VR. Because as soon as I'm playing a flat screen, I'm like, oh, it's all the way over there. It's like in that little box in the corner over there.
Yeah.
It's just totally changed.
You can't hurt me. Yeah. I'm not even in this game. That guy's in this game.
No, it really does. It really is that. So, for sure. Well, speaking of horror, you have on this list Phasmophobia.
Yeah, these aren't really dreams. These are just things that I think will be there. Phasmophobia, I think, obviously. Cosmo Dread, which is the follow-up to Dread Halls, if you guys don't know. These games are already out there on different platforms, and like Sony obviously wants them there. And if you're the developer of these games, you know where VR is heading. You know that PSVR2 is the future. You're going to want your games on that platform as soon as possible. So if you don't already have a PSVR2 dev kit, I'm betting it's on its way.
Okay, I reckon Destiny VR could actually be a realistic showcase.
Yes, Destiny VR. Dude, they just bought Bungie.
That's what I mean, yeah. Yep.
Destiny VR, and again, especially they want to focus on games as a service. You know, you make it cross-play with the people playing on the flat screen. Whatever you have to do, doesn't matter. Absolutely, man. Destiny in VR makes perfect sense. It would be ridiculous for them not to do it. It would be like them not putting MLB The Show in VR.
Right. Yeah.
It makes sense. And by the way, the fact that we haven't gotten an MLB The Show game in VR yet, so dumb. So dumb.
Yeah.
How difficult would that really have been? It's pitching and throwing. It's pitching and batting mostly. That's it. Like it's pretty simple as far as mechanics go. The fact that they never brought us a VR version of that, I mean, Sony's on crack.
Other wish list games. Okay, Spider-Man. We all think it. If there was an Insomniac proper Spider-Man VR game, that would be so good. So good.
Do you think this has to be developed from the ground up, or do you think they can take something like Miles Morales or whatever, and or the PS4 Spider-Man game, and just kind of tweak it so that you're just not doing flips anymore? You're just like flying through the air.
Really good question. I don't know.
It is a really good question. What do you think? Because we need a new
Because
Spider-Man game.
I think of like we say like not even having to flip around. The boss fights, the way that everything is like zooming, and over bosses you keep bouncing either side of them in that sort of in a arena space. So like, I don't know. I feel like it would be maybe. I don't want to say an experience. Like it would be a proper game, but I think it'd have to be a game made for VR. I could be wrong though.
We've had too many Spider-Man experiences, man. We're so done with Spider-Man experiences. Yeah. They weren't good, and we need. Well, I mean, they were fine. Like that second one was actually pretty cool, swinging around the city. But it wasn't even a game. Like there was nothing to it. We've gotten Windlands, which is way more Spider-Man than the Spider-Man games we've gotten.
It could be a tough pill to swallow, but it could be that Insomniac Games have actually tried to build a Spider-Man VR game, and they've gone, it can't be done yet. Not because of the power, but like it's everyone. You need sick buckets everywhere. Like it's just like to mitigate motion sickness and all those things. It's no longer a fun game anymore. That might be just something to do with that. Wolverine when Wolverine comes out, that could be something. Like, can you imagine? Just like, dude, it would be like brawling. Yeah. So that could be something. So yeah,
dude, go green and Game On in the chat says Ridge Racer Type 4 VR remake. I'm a huge Ridge Racer fan, and we never really got an awesome arcade style racer in VR on PSVR 1. We got a couple sims. Drive Club was Sim E, and then Dirt Rally was especially sim, and then of course Gran Turismo Sport was. We got part of that game in VR, and so but we never got these arcade style racers where you're like really like drifting around corners and doing crazy arcade style racing, like burnout, jumping off of bridges, that kind of thing, like crashing through billboards. This is my style of racer. This is what I want. So I'm with you, man. And Ridge Racer was my favorite racing series. If they could somehow bring that back or bring us something similar to it, even Burnout, the Burnout Paradise remake. I was shocked when that didn't come to PSVR 1.
Yep. There was one comment from Baron Erdem who says Spidey senses with the headset rumble would be amazing. That is very true. Like really cool.
So good. Spidey sense over here. You're like enemy. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. We've got a tip from Loop of the Underground Game Cat. Wow. Death Stranding. Make me pull the straps with my enormous backpack with the Sense adaptive triggers.
Oh, I like
Death Stranding. I love Death Stranding. I put a good 100 and something hours into that game, and I'd revisit that world in VR.
I never played it, and I wanted to because I was already done with flat screen gaming at that point. I didn't have time for it. But man, if any of these games make it to PSVR 2, I'm down. I can't wait to finally play them. That's great.
Yeah. No, that'd be really, really cool. Other ones I've got written down in the wish list, we've mentioned some of them before, a From Software game. not going into too much detail, but like Demon Souls, I played a little bit of when it came out on PS5 because a friend bought me it. I found it very difficult. Went on to other games. I've been playing Elden Ring a lot lately, and I fell in love with it straight away. And to experience a game like that in VR, oh my goodness, it is just such a deep and rich open world. Incredible. Ghost of Tsushima. I actually think Ghost of Tsushima is something that could actually be a launch PSVR2 title. Oh, dude,
it makes sense, right?
Yeah,
'Cause, you're not flying through the air. You're not doing crazy acrobatics, right? Like it's. Could you play that game in first person and just and have full control of your sword and still kind of get the same impact that the flat screen version gave you?
You go, yeah, for sure. Going across rooftops, you just do everything, but in VR.
Love it.
With honor.
Love it.
With
love
honor.
Love it.
Yeah, always. Okay, on my wish list, it's just something I've wanted for ages now. Guitar Hero VR. I like just
yeah, for sure.
To bring back a classic like Guitar Hero VR, to be on that stage, and one of the last Beat Saber updates, the was it Fallout Boy?
Was the last one Fall Out Boy? Anyway, it doesn't matter. One of the last ones. Yeah,
it was one of the last couple. But you're on a stage and there's a crowd around you.
Right.
That had the aesthetic and feel of of Guitar Hero.
Right.
The way it was done. So yeah, a Guitar Hero VR would be brilliant. And then last I've got on the list is PlayStation Home.
Right.
I have my reasons why I don't think they do it. But I'd like them to do it. But this comes back to like the talk about the metaverse. What you want is when you log into PlayStation VR 2, you don't want it that you're just looking at the PlayStation flat menu.
Right.
No, when you come into the game, you should be in your custom room where like you've got your trophies, you've got a trophy cabinet. You can feature what trophies you want there. You've got like movie tickets on a table, and if you pick it up, you can flick through and decide what movie you want to go and see with friends. There's a phone that you pick up off the wall, and then you can call friends to do voice chat. And, it is just a shared experience because I've been playing a lot of Rec Room for reasons I'll talk about next Friday. But Rec Room, as much as I love it, the one frustrating thing about it is you can meet up with friends and they have great mechanics. For those that don't know, like to befriend someone in Rec Room, you shake their hand long enough and then you become friends. If you want to party, you fist bump. If you want to mute yourself, you just cover your mouth.
Yeah.
Like really smart stuff like that. But what happens is Bryan, AJ, Wes and I could meet up in the dorm and it's like, right, let's go and play some paintball. So we all bump fists. Okay, we're a party. Okay, so what I do is I go play paintball and it says, do I want to invite my party? Yes. It sends me to the paintball game, the public one or private, but let's just say public for the sake of this argument. And they will all get on their watches, Myles has just gone, do you want to follow? Yes. Now, paintball is 4v4. Let's say I join and that we're against a full team of 4 and I've just joined 2 other people and now there's one more space.
Right.
Bryan joins next, but AJ and Wes haven't. That means now we've got to jump into either a party chat to where are you guys, right. Or text them. And then when I'm trying to text them, the game started, so now I have to reset typing to them again. Yep. It should be done that when you go into a match, it needs to be more seamless going between those worlds. And it's why I think Fortnite is a great fit because their creative mode, and I've spoken about this on voice chat a lot, is you have an island where you have all these different portals of featured creations, created islands and games and experiences of the week, and you go through the portals with your friends and you'll all be there together and you get to experience it together. But then there are other portals where you can put in codes and those codes will bring up whatever one that you've selected, whether it's a personal one you've created or one that you've seen featured online, and it is seamless. And that is like how the metaverse aspect of PSVR 2 should be. Yeah. It should be the moment you go in, you can go in and out of any experiences, any games. PlayStation were talking about it with their cards. You shouldn't have to load up a game from the title screen. You should press the card, squads on Fortnite, and you go straight in. It loads up the game and you're straight into squads. This could be the next step of that, of making things seamless, but, with your friends and, on your friends list and seeing who's there with you in VR.
Yeah, it's a thing that I always feel like Sony makes all these promises at the beginning of a console launch, like this is just how seamless everything's going to be, and then it just never turns out to be quite as seamless as they said it would, and things don't quite work the way they're supposed to, right? Oh yeah, we're all going to be playing games while they download. Not really, right? But anyway, I do agree with you though, Miles. I think PlayStation Home needs to make a comeback. I've never been into the whole cosmetic thing. I've never been into microtransactions, anything like that. But when you're talking about a virtual, space that you can call your own, that you can invite other people to, you bring, just custom design your own apartment, wear clothes in VR. Like, I mean, suddenly I'm like, okay, yeah, here's a couple bucks for this, this interesting. Like, I bought a wolf costume. Or whatever it was in Rec Room for some Halloween stream that AJ was doing, I think, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, because like I wanted to represent myself in a certain way in VR, and I see myself doing that, like by customizing my little room and buying the coolest clothes for my virtual character, my virtual avatar. And then and then being able to hang out and spend time with friends and just and make this like seamless experience where you're like, hey, do you want to meet up at your place, my place, what place? And then we all leave together, and we let's go down to the movie theater. And like, it sounds great. It sounds great, especially during a time where a lot of people still haven't gotten back to real life. Yeah. I've been trying. I've been grocery shopping again. It's okay. It's scary. But like movie theater, I haven't been back to a movie theater since the beginning of all of this, and so it'd be pretty cool to just kind of go and chill and have fun. So,
the revenue Sony could make of having that metaverse setup, which is they're saying, Walmart, do you want to shop in our metaverse? Because then what you do is you walk around. This is the stuff that the stores are developing at the moment. Is you then go to Walmart and you're literally walking and putting stuff in your trolley, and then it gets shipped to your home. Like, that stuff is coming, and so PSVR2 is about laying the foundations for the next generation of VR.
Yeah.
Even if it's not there at launch, they have to have a real presence that they have this in mind. If you load up PSVR2 and it's a flat menu screen of your PS5,
bad start.
It's going to be. I genuinely think it's going to be a really, really disappointing, because that's not something you can you can sort of tweak it in the end, but that will require a massive overhaul. This needs to be something that they've clearly thought about from the get-go when they release this new headset.
Yeah, I agree. And if they've been paying attention at all to what the competition is doing, like you throw on your Quest and boom, you're in a virtual space. And in all fairness, you are still staring at a flat screen, like that's movable within the virtual space, and you're selecting things from a menu. So to me, that's bare minimum, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you end up in a virtual space and you're staring at, I don't know, maybe the movable PlayStation, the home screen on your PlayStation 5, and like you're selecting from there. But man, that's the bare minimum. And so PlayStation Home would be next level, and actually, finally realize the dream that PlayStation Home had all along, because it always seemed like this place for a virtual world to hang out with your friends virtually, and that's never been more relevant or more realized than in VR. So this seems like the next logical step for them. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Dead Ringer with the $5 tip. Says, put this toward a pizza next Thursday night. Thank you very much, Dead Ringer. Say hi to Little Ringer for us. Professor Lilith with the $5 tip. Thank you so much, by the way, Professor Lilith. Says, this Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, the Gamecats have voted for Firewall. Time to have your contractors scolded by their handlers. Why does that sound so scandalous? Guys, don't forget to join our Discord. Click the link in the description down below and come join us over there, man. It's a big, awesome community to hang out with. And if you're ever trying to get a multiplayer game together, that's where to do it. Also, Professor Lilith organizes these multiplayer meetups every single Sunday. So this Sunday, all the cats have voted, and they are playing Firewall together at 2 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. And so make sure you join Discord. And if you want to be part of this multiplayer gathering, man, it's a lot of fun. Miles, I think we got to move it along. I think it's time for everybody's favorite part of the show. The end. No, 20 questions. It's
and by the way, we hit the target. We've done 122 likes.
Nice. Congratulations.
So well done, chat.
Congratulations, Miles. You did a great job.
It wasn't me. It was them. They all did it. Did you like it, Bryan?
Did I click like? You mean?
Yeah.
No, No, hold on.
Let's do this now.
Let me go over to here. Let me click the link. Let me go over. Let me watch the show. There we go. I was like number 122. You happy now?
Yeah.
I mean, are you really though?
Yeah.
Okay. Dude, it's 20 question time. You're the host. And dude, I need all the help that I can possibly get from the chat because I can't think, honestly, right now of a single PlayStation VR 1 game. Every single one just left my mind, except for Horror Bar VR. So if it's Horror Bar VR, we're good. If it's not, I'm in big trouble. I'm going to put 6 minutes up on the clock up on the counter the way that Jeremy likes it. God, I miss Jeremy. Let me get this. Minute. Where's the timer? All right. Myles, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, everybody in the chat, I need your help. Big time, okay? Send me good questions and send me answers as soon as you think of them so that I can start going down the correct path. Let's do this.
Let's do this.
Does it use analog sticks? Wow, stumped you on the first question.
No.
Okay.
No, it doesn't. Just every time you say that, I'm like, analog stick. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
No analog sticks. Okay, so we're thinking move controls. Is what you're doing in this game a lot of shooty, shoot stuff? A lot of that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, no to analog sticks, yes to shooting. Would you call this a wave shooter?
No. Oh, man. No. Oh, man.
Not strictly a wave shooter. But
it's not. It's not.
Maybe elements of wave shooter.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that. Okay, I gotta look at the chat here. David, the Game Cat Runs, asks, is it spooky? Is it horror at all? Scary?
No,
not horror. Okay.
Had one bit that made me jump, but it's not a horror or like a spooky game throughout.
Okay. Could this game ever appear on a top 25 list? Is it good enough for that?
I don't think it would. I don't think it would ever make a top 25 list. No, but I think it could be something that does get into the conversation.
Okay, all right. All right, we're going to assume it's first person Jay's Cat, just because it seems like it. Arizona Sunshine. That's not even close to a wave shooter.
Sorry, you're wrong. Sorry, and you only allowed one guess.
Has this developer, I'm going to go with Aceville, has this developer made other PSVR games?
Have they made other PSVR games? I'm just going to have a quick look. Do you want to ask me other questions while I'm looking this up?
Not really. This way we can disregard the clock at the end and be like, remember when you took like 5 minutes to look that thing up?
Yeah. Come on, load. Yes, they have.
Okay. Other PSVR games.
6.
Okay. Does this have any... Are there multiple characters you can play as in this game?
No.
Okay, it's not
7.
Not raw data, guys. Okay. Is it based on an existing IP?
Yes.
It
8.
is. Interesting, you guys. Very interesting. Guys, okay, we got to think of games that are based on an existing IP. There's not that many of them. Let's go with AJ's question while we think this over. Does it have full locomotion?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
9.
So it's not horror. It doesn't use analog sticks. Wave. Multiple. Okay. So it's not Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, or Onslaught. Shapeshifter asks, does it have a female protagonist? Let's go with that. I'm not sure where that brings us. I can't think of.
As in protagonist, as in the person you play.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
That's 10.
Okay. Can you fly?
Yeah.
You can fly, and it's based on existing IP. Holy crap! Wait a minute.
11.
Are you in a vehicle in this game?
No. 12.
You can fly. It's based on an existing IP. Is there any multiplayer at all?
No. 13.
Do you use the aim controller?
No. 14.
Oh, right, because there was no analog stick, so it was definitely move controller.
Oh, yeah, I'll give you that back.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Are you a superhero in this game? Or a person gets
15.
into a suit of some kind and allows you to become a superhero?
Yeah,
maybe,
17.
Yeah, okay. Maybe you have... yeah. Are you okay. Is this a Marvel property?
Yeah, 18.
Yeah, okay.
To your left, Brian, be careful.
Was this made by Camouflage?
Yeah, be really careful. You're on 19 now.
I don't know, guys. I just don't know. I don't know. It's going to be Republic. I mean, is it Iron Man VR? Is it Marvel?
It is VR? Iron Man VR, Brian. Well done.
Good.
There was someone who got it on
guys.
Quite early.
Really?
It was.
Oh, damn, I'm sorry.
Was it Chica? No, Great Tantrum.
Wow, good job, Great Tantrum.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that was the first one I saw.
Somehow I missed a whole segment of questions or suggestions, and damn, dude. Damn.
I'm always interested just discussing these kind of parts of it. Like the wave shooter thing, it's like, do you know what I mean? Like it's not it.
I think you answered it correctly. It has it definitely has some wave shooter vibes going on, and but if you said strictly no, it's okay to go beyond the yes or no. I think to make sure that you keep people on the right page.
Yeah, for sure.
So great job, guys. Thank you so much for helping me out. This has been an amazing week. Obviously over here at PSVR Without Parole, it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy for a long time. It was me, Dave, and AJ, and then just me and AJ. We were holding down the PSVR fort for a very long time, just patiently waiting for any drip feed of PSVR2 news that we could possibly get, and reviewing some of the crappiest games of all time, but also a few good ones here or there. So I just want to say it's that I think that patience is finally starting to pay off. Like we're finally going to start seeing some PSVR2 games. And so for anyone who thought we were crazy for sticking with PSVR this long, you're right. You're absolutely right. I feel like a goddamn lunatic when I look back at the last year and a half and go, what have I been doing? Like, did I just bury myself in a shallow grave? Like, is this, how the hell are we going to keep making it? How the hell am I going to keep doing this until PSVR2 gets here? And somehow, here we are. We're with this news that we're finally going to start seeing PSVR2 games. We've done it. We've made it. And you guys, and I couldn't have done it without you guys. And I'm so grateful for the fact that, Wes and Myles even wanted to join the channel because it's like, wow, I'm not going to go down with that ship. Like that was the impression when I asked you guys that was like exactly the impression I got. Like that was that like, these guys are going to say no. They're going to be like, no way, man. Like you're out of your mind. And so thank you, Myles, for joining during this slow time, and Wes is out there, obviously. Thank you, and AJ, of course, for sticking through this really hard time. It's been crazy. It's been crazy that it's just I don't know. I'm
Brian,
I'm a little emotional.
No, for sure, man. Like, look, you have laid the groundwork for years and years, and with a platform or a medium that is still very niche, and it's about sticking with it through the highs and lows, and we know that it's going to be absolutely buzzing when it comes out. And the reason that Wes and I have joined and AJ has stuck around is because we believe in this project, we believe in this community. Everyone is super enthusiastic, super nice. We have a laugh, even though I'm being called a liar again because I didn't describe Iron Man's suit as a vehicle.
Yeah,
like
shout out to
every
Looper.
week.
Looper tip for the
yeah.
€2.
Thanks for the tip.
Yep.
Yeah. Look,
I don't
I
think
would
it's
like to
a
make another personal statement. I am not a liar. I am just misguided at times, and he
Listen,
got it.
AJ paved the way for you to answer questions in the way that you do. And that's all I'm going to say.
But going back to the serious point, which is, this community is absolutely amazing. There's a reason why I love doing this. And, Bryan's a really great guy. He puts his heart and soul into this constantly. And I know he's going to shrug it off at the moment and stuff like that. But this stuff, people often wonder why I'm not a vlogger anymore on YouTube, and it's because I got to a point where I totally burnt out. And there's a lot of times where you burn yourself out and then you come back to it again. But I got to a point where I had burnt myself so much I didn't find I could never find the enjoyment again. Yeah. And I was always looking forward to finding a community or something I could be involved with where I feel it again. And I do with this community, and it's a real gift and a real privilege to be here. Yes, this is a hobby. This is good fun, but I take this incredibly seriously because it is a privilege to be a part of history in the making in terms of gaming. Like, VR is not just the future of gaming, it's the future of how we connect with people around the world, how we experience all mediums. Agreed. And to be at the forefront of that, it reminds me of the early days of YouTube in 2006, the golden era. And so for us all to be here now is a really exciting time, and it's why we should keep doing what we do, keep supporting the channel with your money if you can through Patreon, with your time through Discord, or just liking and sharing content. All the small things that you might think, does this really make a difference? It all makes a difference. And so as long as we keep pushing forward, we are going to keep doing incredible things. And so, it's an absolute joy, and I love you all for it.
And for all those who do support us on Patreon, patreon.com/withoutparolegames, don't forget for $3 a month, you get your name on that little scroll that goes endlessly by as we talk for hours. And you also get voice chat access with that $3 donation on Patreon. But for $5, you get access to exclusive video content, which I know has not been very frequent. But tomorrow, I'm doing an AMA for the $5 plus tier, and we have already filmed the first episode of Why We Love. And as soon as I find time to do that, I'm going to get that and make that available for all the $5 supporters. We thank you very, very much. And guys, and really thank you to everybody who donated during the show. Obviously, another huge way of supporting. Thank you to everybody who helped me out and just hung out as part of the chat. Thank you to everybody who helped me out with 20 questions. And of course, thank you to everybody who sat back, watched the show, and didn't say a goddamn word. We know you're out there, and we love you just as much. Myles, you ready to start your weekend?
I am. I've worked pretty much 12 days solid. I didn't have a weekend last weekend, so I've been very much looking forward to this. Although, funnily enough, this is the one evening in a long time on a Friday where I'm finishing this show, and I'm actually ready to jump into VR. So I might do that next. I'll see how I feel once the camera rolls off, because sometimes the adrenaline goes away, and
I'm ready for bed. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. But just one last thing I would say is there have been so many game cats that have been joining in my live show every Wednesday. That's 2 hours before Wednesday, Gamescast Live. Love you all. So many of you bring great energy. Been looking at sort of doing a bit of a rebrand in terms of just sorting out the structure. This Wednesday show, I now know what it's going to be in advance. It's all about pizza. So if you like pizza, which I think this community might like a little bit.
That's on brand.
Hi there.
Yep.
I'm Myles.
Yeah, it's on brand.
Welcome to my...
Definitely get involved. And also the game that we always play at the end of the show, this word game, it's a co-op game, and the more players we have there, the better. But I've seen a huge bump in the amount of people that tune in every week. So huge thanks to the community here and Bryan for shouting out about it. It means a lot. And finally, I will say, next Friday, I hope to talk about a really cool project I've been working on in Rec Room. To tease it a bit now, for anyone that wants to add me on Rec Room, it's just at Myles Dyer, 2 Ys. But
2 Ys.
I've actually been learning the creator tool in Rec Room, and I've been in the process of building a PSVR without Parole Rec Room that is branded. I've already got a stage. I've already got aim controller on the desk and Beat Saber on the screen. Got towers of cats and coffee machines for Bryan and stacks of pizza. And I actually recently got chatting with a YouTuber that does tutorials for Rec Room, who's going to help me on Sunday with tweaking a few other things.
Nice.
It's going to be really cool, just so that whenever we want to jump into Rec Room, we have like a lobby space we can go to. And the final thing I will just mention is on Rec Room, a lot of us play it from time to time, and you earn tokens that people then don't want to spend. Well, there's a mechanic that when you create a custom room, you can create these donation pots, which means that whenever we meet up in Rec Room and play some games and make tokens, we can all go back to the PSVR Without Parole Rec Room, donate all our tokens into a pot, and after so much, that then can be converted into dollars that we can then use to fund back into PSVR Without Parole, which, you know, it may not work out. We'll have to wait and see. It's a new thing that we're going to try. But like, it could be an exciting thing. And I know a lot of people don't like using Rec Room for the things I touched upon earlier with, you know, meeting up with people in the noisy Rec Room with screaming kids. Or if we have our own space, which is PSVR Without Parole, it could revitalize that until we wait for the PSVR2 PlayStation home versions and stuff like that. So yeah, stay tuned.
Excellent. Myles, I am not on the screen with you. There I am. Dude, let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here. It has been a very, very long week, and we got a big, long week ahead of us next week as well. So let's go rest up. Well, you can rest up. I'm going to go make some sale videos. But guys, thank you so much. We love you so much. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you very, very soon, man. Next week.
Much love, Game Cats. Have a great weekend.
Where's the button? Where's the button? Oh, there it is. Bye. Myles, I went to your YouTube channel to copy the link so I could put it in the chat for people to go subscribe. It's youtube.com/Myles.
Yeah.
Like, dude, there are like legit billions of YouTubers, and you have youtube.com/Myles. That's me.
Because when I used to work... I used to when I worked for a YouTube network that I helped build in the UK. I had meetings with YouTube, and so I used to be able to claim custom channels, and so I claimed it for myself. I get loads of people occasionally going, "I'm called Myles. I see you don't post videos much anymore. Can I have it?" Nope, no way.
No way. That is amazing. That is the simplest YouTube URL I have ever seen in my entire life. So
it does feel good.
No one
nice
has an excuse to not go and subscribe, man. It's /Myles.
And ring the bell, and I'll see you Wednesday on there.
Ring the bell. Yeah, I'll see you Wednesday. I'll see you guys.
145 likes. Wow.
Sweet. Good job, you guys. Good job. Just remember, one of those is mine. And I'm taking it back.
And another one's mine.
Yeah, we're both taking them back. These are our likes. Our likes down here. I'm so tired.